Okay, I think we are live. Let me just double check the sound here, make sure you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if you all can hear me all right, by the way. Cool. So yeah, welcome everybody. Let me give this a second to just get some feedback from you folks if you can hear me all right, and then we'll kick it off. Cool. Sounds good there. Let me know if you guys can hear me too. And yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out again to another cool. We got of all. You made it. Sweet. Awesome. So welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out to another Cardano Q&A live stream here with us at Woodland Pools. So welcome from all around the world. If you're watching this live, feel free to drop in your questions in the chat and let us know where you're calling in from. If you're watching us on the replay, we do these live streams every 2 weeks on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Actually, the last one that we did was only a week ago. And normally we do them every 2 weeks, but with everything going on, we decided, you know what, with everything going on with the Senate and this recent hack that just happened, let's just do another one in just a week instead of waiting two. And so what we'll do is we'll just pick up the 2 week schedule from here. So if you're watching this on the replay and you want to catch us live, the next one will be on August 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern here on our channel. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. So let's get a couple hellos here. So Haval says, hello, I made it. So welcome. Charles, hello again. Where are you joining us from, Charles? Nick the Greek. And Haval is joining from Sweden. Sweet. So as you guys are coming in, feel free to go ahead and drop in any questions you have, or if there's any specific topics that you want to be chatting about. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot going on right now. So if there's any specific things that you want to talk about, let us know. We'll get through it. Florida, sweet. What is that a picture of? Is it like a kind of a blurry hurricane photo or something? Yeah, I lived in Florida for a long time. A lot all over Florida, actually. But yeah, cool. All right, guys, sweet. So welcome everyone. What we'll do while people are filtering in, and as people come in and start getting their questions together, we'll do kind of some of the normal stuff that we do. We'll do a quick tour. We'll do a quick update of some stuff, and we'll go from there. We'll go for about an hour, but usually this thing, this is very much like a back and forth thing. It's very conversational. So we'll go for as long as you guys have good questions that you want to chat about, or really if there's anything you want to just like talk about. And there's not that many questions, we can always cut it early, but we're here mainly just to interact and chat with you guys. So let us know what's on your mind and what questions you have. I'll start off by so for those that are joining us that are new, some stuff that we normally go over just to give you an idea of our channel. So yeah, so our whole thing about, grow your investment with confidence. And so what we have to get you guys started is a series of playlists. If you're just getting started, if you're brand new to cryptocurrency and you're trying to decide, okay, how do I even do any of this stuff? This playlist here on exchanges will help give you an idea in terms of how to select an exchange. There's so many you can choose from. Then from there, how do you fund your account? Different ways you can buy your preferred currency, and then how to withdraw it to your wallet. Separately, once you've actually purchased the cryptocurrency you want to work with, this playlist, our Getting Started guide, will walk you everything from start to finish in terms of setting up your Ledger Nano X if you have a hardware wallet. If you don't, then you can still do it with a software wallet. So you just pull up the same playlist and start with the second video instead and choose between Daedalus, Yoroi, and Ada Lite. From there, we show you how to actually set up Yoroi, how to get it installed, how to delegate. And then at this point, once you're done with just this second video, you'll be good to go and you'll be delegated to your preferred stake pool. But from there, if you want to then figure out the most common question that comes after that, people ask is, okay, but there's like, for example, if we come here to, where's my Yoroi wallet? Here we go. And let's just open up one of these software wallets. So one of the most common questions we get then is like, okay, well, if I come to this delegation list, let's give it a second to pull up here. Here we go. Oh, that little flicker was a tease. Here we go. So yeah, so imagine like, people that are brand new, you come and you see this huge long list and you say, where do I even begin, right? So that is where on this playlist, this next video, selecting the right stake pool for you will help you get we'll help you go through a lot of the different factors to help you figure out what's the right stake pool to match what it is that you're trying to do. From there, the next video is the Cardano delegation cycle, how rewards work. And so from when you first delegate to when your first payouts happen, how and when to expect that, and then some common questions that we get. So yeah, so these two should be really good ones for folks that are brand new. So those of you that have just found us, don't know anything about our channel, and you're brand new to Cardano or cryptocurrency in general, these two playlists will be good ones for you to check out. And you can find both of those on our channel under playlists. So let's see some questions. Charles, what date did Charles say the release will happen? And do I have a guess? So actually, Charles just released a video. I want to say it was yesterday. No, actually, I'm not sure if it was yesterday, if it was earlier today. Let's find out. Let's go check out Charles. And then for this one, let me just go back to Woodland Pools here. We'll move this one here. Okay, there's Charles. So Charles yesterday put out this brief update. And here in this brief update, he was talking about the, because you're asking about Goguen, right? Yeah. So when you say the release, I'm certain you're referring to the Alonzo release for Goguen with smart contracts. We're going to talk about this more in the weekly recap this week, and we'll play some relevant clips from this update. But if you can't wait and you want to check it out in the meantime, this brief update from Charles, I'll share it with you here. He goes over, this is for Charles, about Charles. Here we go. Oh, here we go. So for Charles, brief update from Charles Hoskinson on Alonzo and Goguen release dates. There you go. So he goes there. Basically, at a high level, he says that they have a specific date in mind, that he couldn't say it yesterday yet, but their plan is to do some final checks with some stakeholders, like exchanges and stuff like that, and that they will announce the hard fork date to get smart contracts on the mainnet on Friday. So our recap will come out on Sunday. But if you watch Charles's channel, you will get his update in terms of the date on Friday. Now, what I do know that he mentioned in here, when you watch it, you'll see, is he talks about, he said that they are expecting that it will be before the Cardano Goguen Summit, which is in September. And I know that originally in last week in a video that he released, I forget, it was also, I think, just called Brief Update, he talked about the date they were targeting was August 31st. So if I had to guess, I'd say probably right around late August, early September. And that being said, one thing, I don't know if I have it handy anymore now that I think about it. We had this nice screenshot. Let me see if I could find it. Wait, this nice screenshot that was a pretty cool, like relevant screenshot for some of this stuff. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where he, it was from one of the Cardano 360 videos. They were talking about all the different components that go into, oh, I think I know where I have it. All different components that go into this release. And that was one of the things that we were going to cover, but we ran out of time last week. Let me find Alonzo roadmap. I thought I had on here different components. Yeah, I thought I had it handy, but in one of our videos, we had talked about that. But I don't know if you guys remember from the one video where like there's, okay, let me try one more thing. What we'll do is let's try and find actual like IOHK's page, and then let's see if we can do that. Because if we look at, here we go, IOHK. What I wanted to show you guys was videos, Cardano 360 for July. Okay, let's pause this guy. Progress on Alonzo, blah, blah, blah. Here, okay, awesome, sweet. I was able to find it. Okay, so here. So can you guys see that okay? Yeah, let me move my face out of the way here. Let me, if I go up to this corner, will that work? Yeah, great. Okay. So when Charles is talking about the August 31st date, something for us to keep in mind here is that when they say that for the hard fork for Alonzo, right? We have to keep in mind, looking at this diagram from the Cardano 360 in July that we covered, there are all of these things on the left are things that are happening off chain. And you can see here, is my face covering it? No, it's not. Parts that run on a user's machine. And then these are all the things that are happening on chain, the things that run on the actual blockchain. For the actual hard fork combinator event to happen for the Alonzo, it'll be from Alonzo Purple that they're planning on doing it. And that I do have this screenshot for. So let's look at these two things together. Okay, so let's start here. So with the Alonzo rollout plan, let me put this here. Yeah, cool, great. So if we look at the original Alonzo rollout plan, and actually I need to make this a little higher. So here we go. Let me hide your question for a second. There we go, that's better. Okay, so if you look at the original plan, the plan was to go from blue to white to purple, and then they were gonna have these concurrent parts for staging before we get to mainnet, right? And the idea was at end of August, early September, actually do this fork to mainnet. Now, we're currently in the Alonzo Purple era, and even though this is supposed to start and then conclude like around mid-August, this whole part here was kind of shifted over. And so even though it would look like this whole timeline is delayed and is behind schedule, what Charles was getting at in his other video, if we look at this piece is back here, which we'll look at in a second, what he was suggesting was that not everything has to happen in series. Like we don't have to serialize all of these activities. Some of them can happen in parallel and some of them can happen after the hard fork. So what Charles was talking about in a previous video is that Alonzo Purple, which they've talked about splitting into light purple and dark purple, he was saying that the hard fork event can actually happen during purple, and then these other pieces that are going to happen can actually happen after the fact, continuing to build out. So if we now hide our high level timeline and go back to these different elements here, and yeah, let's actually leave it like, well, we can, yeah, great. And we come back to our high level, rather to all these elements here, we can see that for the on-chain parts, these are the parts that have to be there for the merge. And that is the Cardano node itself, the ledger and the interface to Plutus, and then Plutus core. These things have to absolutely be there for your Cardano node to understand what Plutus smart contracts are and how to interface with them and how to, yeah, like when they're getting a set of contracts, how to actually propagate those contracts and how to understand them. And then the other piece is that from the off-chain standpoint, the wallet backend needs to be done. Once, and actually I think there's another little piece here, if I let this keep playing. There we go. That was the last one there. Cool. I know there was one more piece. Okay. But then all of this other stuff, this off-chain stuff, and then these integration pieces, these can all happen afterwards. The idea being that once all of this is ready and merged in, all the on-chain stuff, and then the backend is ready, you can technically at that point already start writing smart contracts. It's very, very low level, the way you'd have to do it like in the command line, but you can do it. And then all these other things, the application library, and then sort of think of it in terms of like software development where you can write very, very low level stuff. And then like as tools and libraries and things like that help you to like scaffold your applications or help you like to write faster and keep things from being so low level. That's kind of what they're getting at here is that, okay, let's get the core functionality of understanding what smart contracts are onto the mainnet. And then technically you can say, okay, yeah, we've made it. We've moved into the smart contract era because the blockchain knows how to work with smart contracts, right? And then from there, the goal is, if you think of sort of like a normal distribution, then this long tail of all these other things that come afterwards, let's have that long tail be all the other sort of nice to haves in terms of making the smart contract development process easier to work with and sort of more user friendly. But at that point, that's all just polish on top of the fact that smart contracts are usable. You can kind of debate in terms of saying like, well, if we're going to merge this and it's ready, but it's super low level and very, very difficult to actually get the contracts working without all this other helping stuff, then why did you draw the line there? But they have to draw a line somewhere. And if you wait until like the tail end of all these other libraries and helper things are all there, then you might be waiting forever to technically say we have smart contracts when you could have had them a while back. And who knows, you could have other folks developing third-party things, third-party libraries. Like, for example, if you think about stake pool operation is a great example of this whole thing, is that when Shelley was launched in like July of 2020, right? you could immediately on the mainnet start up a stake pool. And there's a lot of things you had to do through command lines and like calculate transactions and things and do things like through the actual CLI interface. But then this huge set of resources was built out by the community itself, like the Guild Tools team that does the CN tools for any stake pool operators out there. Really, really great suite of CLI tools, which you can like really help the process. And now there's like Docker containers that you can download and you just click a few buttons and your stake pool is just up and running. So it's even easier now than when we started it about like 9 months ago or something. So if you think about the progress that's been made just in stake pool operation, and that's only been at this point now just over a year that Shelly has been live, I agree with the fact that they were like, you know what, let's just get the core stuff out there, and then we and other people will be building ways to make the smart contracts themselves run faster. So all of that is a very long-winded way to say what I think somebody already said here. With Xavier said, Xavier said he's going to announce it on Friday. That's what I was talking about earlier. He's going to announce it on Friday. But I think the important thing is that we keep in mind sort of the context of what is being announced. And what is being announced is the merging of all of these on-chain parts and the critical must-have off-chain portions that will technically get us into the smart contract era. So really cool stuff. But there will be a lot of things that come afterwards. And I expect we're going to be getting a bunch of updates on all of these other things as they roll out as well. So for those of you who have been following the channel and following our recaps, and you see us talk about a lot of these different things, just know that some will come immediately and some will come later. So there you go. There's the first long ramble of the live stream. Hello, Jeff, Florida in the house. We got a couple of Floridians. In Herms, not sure what you mean, Nick. So you were saying it's announced Friday. So Christopher from Texas, hello. Nick. Oh, I see. This is the enter button got you, huh? Okay. In terms of hardware wallets, do you guys recommend a second wallet as a backup? It seems like a good idea, but also increases the likelihood of falling in the wrong hands. So that's a good question. As a general rule, I would say if you can afford it, I think it's a good idea to have a backup for a couple of reasons. Well, I think, for a couple of reasons. The first one I would say, and the most obvious one, is that, so let's say you have your hardware wallet and you have it with you and you're traveling or whatever you're carrying around with you and it is lost or stolen, right? Remember that at the end of the day, a few things. Remember that like with your, let me get my ledger out here. I remembered this time to use my my visual aids. So we've got our ledger here, right? Keep in mind, let's see if I plug this guy in, that if it falls into the wrong hands, right, they still need to, let me if I full screen this guy. The focus is sometimes terrible on here, but you still need to enter the pin. Is that, now you can't, there you go. There you go, enter pin code. Oh, look at that, perfect focus, right? So you still need to enter the pin anyway. So if it fell into the wrong hands. Oh, and the other thing too, let me actually show you one other thing too. For those of you that aren't aware, let me do this. I'm gonna just enter like a garbage pin. Okay, and let me see if, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and enter this incorrect pin. Let me see if I can get it to focus here. Come on, work with me, guy. So this is like when we're filming videos, by the way, this is what we have to deal with. It's like, oh, there we go, perfect. So when I enter that, oh, here we go. Cool. Invalid pin, 2 attempts left. So what happens there, if I enter the wrong pin 2 more times, it'll wipe the device, which is awesome. So if those of you are wondering, by the way, oh, how do I reset my ledger? Just put the pin in wrong 3 times. You could actually do it a much more manual way, but yeah, if you just do it wrong 3 times, it'll wipe your device. So, but that's not a problem. If you have your recovery, which you should have your recovery phrase stored in a safe place, then if you for some reason get it wrong, or if you have like kids and they just like, click it a bunch of times and they wipe it, you just get your recovery phrase, go into restore mode and restore your ledger, and you'll just have no problem at all. And then for those who are just curious how that process works, if you've never done it before, if it seems kind of intimidating, this video shows how to restore your ledger. And I'll share that here just so you have it. How to restore a ledger nano. So yeah, you would just, as we show in that video, you would just go into restore mode. You would put in your recovery phrase, and then your wallet would be exactly the way that you left it. So that's the good thing for you. If you put in your PIN the wrong way, you can always just restore it, no problem. For somebody else, if they had your hardware wallet and they tried guessing your PIN 3 times wrong and got it wrong, the device is wiped and now they have no way to get to your funds. So that's the first layer of security to think about, that if it does fall into the wrong hands, they still have to also know your PIN before they can even get access to your funds at all, right? But what I would say in terms of, so that's good in terms of maybe slowing down any progress that they might make. But when we're talking about backups, the reason why I think a backup is a good idea is because the reason why I think a backup is a good idea, though, is because now let's say you did lose it or it was stolen. If you had your recovery phrase, you could order a new one. You can put in your recovery phrase, you can restore it, and then you can move your funds off or something like that. But if you have a backup, right, and it's lost or stolen, you just grab that backup and you can immediately send the funds off of the wallet. What I'd recommend is take all the currencies you have on there, send them to somewhere safe as a holding place, like an exchange or something like that, for just like a temporary holding place. You send it over there, then reset your device, like just wipe it and say, let me start this device as a brand new device. Make sure you've taken all your funds off first, right? Wipe it and set it up as a new device. And then when it has a brand new device with brand new sets of keys, send all your stuff back. And now the device that they are holding, that they stole from you, is just is just an empty device or an empty set of addresses that has no funds actually sitting on it. So the benefit of having a backup is that if something like that were to happen, you can immediately move the funds off. And then you could take your time setting up a ledger as new and then send the funds back. And now the thing that they stole has no value at all. So that's the one thing that I would say. And then the other piece that I would say is the benefit of having a backup is that you also now have a second device. So if for any reason, and this might be different reasons that you might want to do this. If for any reason you wanted to just have actually 2 different wallets with different sets of addresses and you don't want to restore them or clone them, then you have the ability to do that as well. So yeah, I would generally recommend it. If it's a thing that you can afford to do, I think it's a pretty good idea. So yeah, that's something to think about there. Okay. What are the thoughts on Cardano and WMT? I have not got the skills you guys have to run a stake pool. However, I feel like running a WLT CS node. Sorry, when you I apologize. What is maybe I should know this, but I don't off the top of my head. What is a WMT? C something C as a service, something as a service node. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you mean by that, Dean. Happy to answer it, but yeah, let me know what you're referring to there. Charles says thank you. Sweet. September 25th. Oh, is that what that is? Is that because he's had this like lobster sitting on his oh man, let's go back to Charles. So this, no, never mind. I was going to show what was probably a scam, but that's fine. Okay, so let's go back to Charles here. So for those, for what Charles is talking about here, what Cher is talking about here is if you look at Charles in the latest videos that he's been publishing, he likes doing little cheeky things like this. There you go. If you look at his latest videos, he's got this lobster sitting on top of his microphone. And so, yeah, so there's some speculation that he's doing this on purpose because Lobster Day is coming up and that he's going to announce that's the date or a date. So we'll see. But who knows? The Lobster Day could be referring to the hard fork. I don't think it would be the hard fork because I think that they are planning on doing it at the end of August, but we'll find out. Or it could be referring to when the Goguen Summit is going to be. So, which he's also not announced yet. So we'll see. Stymie's back. Hello again from not so sunny, but extremely humid Indiana. Nice. Welcome back, Stymie. Good to see you. Hello from Yorkshire. Sweet. Hello, Dean. Joe and his blue dog. What kind of pools do you specialize in? So is that the Blues Clues guy? Nice. We specifically, currently, we specifically do stake pools on Cardano. We have our one stake pool right now, the ASPEN stake pool on the Cardano network. We've talked in the past about maybe potentially doing some other stake pools and other networks in the future. We talked about maybe Polkadot or Solana or some of these other ones. But for now, honestly, just covering the news and doing these updates for just Cardano has been a lot of time. So the reason why we did the Woodland pools and left it generic was in case we wanted to do more pools in the future. But right now, it's only just the ASPEN stake pool on Cardano. Oh, yes. Awesome. Jeff, thank you for mentioning that. So we've got 24 people watching right now, and then only 13 likes. So please, if you wouldn't mind, if you're enjoying the content, give it a thumbs up. It really helps out with the algorithm. And we're going to go for probably about another half hour. And if you hit that thumbs up button, if you like it, the algorithm will show it to other people. Then they can join us and they can get their questions answered as well. And then as Jeff mentioned, that's a great point. Let me share that now. Also, if you're watching this on the replay and you don't want to wait 2 weeks to chat, you can join us in our Telegram group. It's here. So feel free to join us in our Telegram group. It's a really, really great group of folks. A lot of really friendly, really smart people helping each other out. So if you're looking for, a really warm, friendly community that will help you and we can all kind of grow together and answer each other's questions and help each other out, feel free to join us in our Telegram group. Thank you for the reminder, Jeff. I appreciate that. Vincent says Cardano is dumping right now. I mean, relative, right? Like it's so, we don't normally like talk price, but I do think it's important just for the sake of keeping this in context. So if we look, sure, it's gone down 7%, but let's not forget that on the week, let me undo that. Let's not forget that on the week in general, even if you don't count that, it's already up 25%. So, I mean, let's not have selective memory here. And let's also, it's actually what I'm glad you mentioned because I wanted to bring this up. Follow your own plan. And for us, for example, our plan is we're in ADA and Cardano for the long term. We are slowly dollar cost averaging in weekly. And also we take the rewards from the pool and we just reinvest them right back. We believe in the project long term. We have no interest in getting rid of our ADA anytime soon. But what I will say is that for people that are trying to be clever and are trying to beat the market here and are saying, because smart contracts are coming out, I'm going to, like all these people that are buying on the way up here and saying, yeah, and then smart contracts are going to come out and then it's going to moon and it's going to go to, $5, $10, $20. Remember, guys, that the market is a forward discounting mechanism and that who knows? Let me do this. Let me do this. Ready? This is my disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Always follow your own plan. But if I had to guess, I would say that the price will probably continue going up into the release of smart contracts with Alonzo and Goguen, and then we'll probably either just pause or roll over because then there's no additional big news coming out immediately. This price going up here, for example, look at ADA compared to the price going up with like Bitcoin, for example, right? Like in the past couple of weeks, even compared to Ethereum, look at how much more ADA has been shooting up here in this last week because there's more and more confidence about these smart contracts. So this is the market already pricing in that excitement about yeah, we're going to hit this date. It's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. Please be careful. Who knows what the market's going to do? But that's the thing. It shouldn't matter. Please be careful about thinking that you're going to buy in now at $1.70 because you're so sure that once smart contracts come out, it's really going to explode. It might not work out that way. Like, for example, I forget where it was. It was it actually doesn't even matter. But I think it was right here when here when the Coinbase listing happened and it shot up. It doesn't even matter, but it could have been any of these. But it's exactly how it played out. It was ahead of the Coinbase listing. It was right before the announcement, it shot up. And then once it went live, then it crashed down because the market already took that into account. So please be careful, guys. Like I said, we really don't even look at the price that much these days, but I thought this would be a good moment to just discuss, let's not get too worked up in trying to predict what's going to happen with the market. Let's make our own plan. Let's just follow that plan. And then just go from there. Make a plan when you're thinking rationally, and then just follow the steps that you said you were going to do when you get to that point. And when I say this, if you're thinking well, I don't know what you mean about following a plan, and I don't even know where to begin. I highly recommend you check out this video here. It's our video on how to make a plan, and then having that, how to succeed in any market state. Come on, help me out here, guy. There we go. And we don't tell you what plan you should make, what we do is we give you a bunch of ideas in terms of here's a lot of things that we've picked up from a lot of smart people and a lot of different options for these like 6 different dimensions that you can consider. And then from there, you need to make the right plan for you. But the biggest thing that you'll see from people that actually make money in this industry is take your time, make a plan, act calmly, and don't freak out. So how to make a plan. There's that video. Okay, Dan. Hello. Hello, Dan. When I stake ADA in a pool and then receive a percentage of ADA, what's the value of that percentage of ADA earned? Sorry, I'm not sure. Oh, okay, great. Here we go. I see that. You said, in other words, let's say I stake 1,000 ADA and the value of the time is $2 and I eventually earn 5% ADA, at which the time is worth 30. Is the ADA I get value at the price? Yeah. Okay. So I know this can kind of be confusing, but think of it this way. The rewards that you're getting are not in terms of US dollars or anything else. They're in terms of ADA, right? To your point. So what's happening is when you stake your ADA, then you get some ADA back, right? And the way to think about it is that the value of one ADA is one ADA. It is what it is. It is the thing, right? You don't have to worry about its value in any other currency, including a cryptocurrency, unless you get to the point where you're actually going to be making that exchange. So for example, let's say that you had started delegating with us like way back here, like way back when we started in like February, right? And so that, that's like, 6 or 7 months ago, right? And let's say, and in February, if we look at where the price was, where'd my thing go? In February, it was at like 30 cents, right? So let's say you've been getting rewards this whole time and you're getting ADA this whole time. What you're getting is you're not getting dollars or euros, whatever, you're getting ADA. So if you're just like getting more and more ADA and you're just holding that ADA, then its realization of its value when you realize your gains that you've gotten over this time is only when you actually sell it. So you just continue accumulating your ADA, continue holding on to it, and then whatever in the future it is that you choose to sell some of it to actually realize some gains, then the market is realizing that value at the time that you sell it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what price you got it at. It's just what price you sell it at. So I know it can be confusing because we're so used to thinking about things in terms of some fiat currency, but yeah, no, just you just get your ADA. And that's so that's the cool thing, right? Is that if you believe in a project like Cardano and you believe that, okay, it's at $1.79 right now. And like the same way how we believed in it when it was at like, 3, 2, 3, 5 cents, like way down here. Well, you actually, my mouse is, here we go. Let me hide this real quick. Like we were like believing in it when it was like way down here, right? Like 2 and 3 cents. So that ADA that we got there is still ADA that we still have. And like, that's how we were able to get like our pledge and stuff for our pool. And then, yeah. And then whenever you actually decide to give it back to the market or some amount of it back to the market, then it's whatever the market rate is at that time. Hopefully that helps. Dingle, good evening. What time is it where you at? Where are you joining us from? Oops, here we go. Mike, hello from Florida. First live YouTube anything. Cool. Well, it's your first live YouTube anything, and now you're a part of it, and you're here and live with us. So yeah, so hello. Christopher Leet, smash the like button. Awesome. Yes, thank you. We're at 25 viewers still and only 17 likes. Please hit that thumbs up button if you're appreciated. Oh, and also, if you know somebody, so like, Mike, where you're saying it's your first live YouTube anything, if you guys have friends out there that have some questions that they want answered, please send them a link to this live stream. We're going to go for about another half hour, 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. Happy to answer anybody's questions. So share this with friends, give it a thumbs up, and the algorithm will share it for you. Really appreciate it. Smash that like button. All right, Nick, makes sense. What were we talking about, Nick? We were talking about, the wallets and having the second wallet. Yeah, cool. Glad that helped. Okay. The World Mobile Token was when we were talking about, I see, the WMT. Oh, I see. Okay. World Mobile Token. Okay. If you're trying to run a World Mobile Token, I see, would be a good opportunity to add value. Okay. Yeah, I have not looked too much into that specifically. Yeah, if you have some good links, either Dean or who was just saying here, the World Mobile Token, Dean or Haval, if you guys have some good links on the World Mobile Token, feel free to share it, and we can take a look at it together. All right, Dan, if you stake your ADA and its value of 2 and it skyrockets to 30, will the percent ADA earn back the value of current price? Yeah, so this is kind of what we just talked about, right? So You're getting your return on stake based on your ADA itself. Its value in US dollars doesn't matter until you're actually giving it to the market. Okay, a project based in Cardano. They have a project in Tanzania. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm very familiar with World Mobile and the stuff that they're doing there. I know that they are going to have tokens. You know, just like there are lots of other tokens, they're making World Mobile tokens. But I'm not totally sure what you mean about the container as a service for World Mobile tokens specifically. I think, are you talking about like how Meld and World Mobile were doing a partnership? I'm not sure. RS checking in, thumbs up, thank you. Can't wait for Sunday Swap. Great show. Yeah, so Sunday Swap is going to be interesting, right? So things like Sunday Swap and Meld. So again, when we talk about like following your own plan, the idea there is figuring out what is your own like risk tolerance, how much risk are you willing to take on? And then from there, what percentage of your total portfolio do you allocate to these different sort of risk thresholds of different ideas? Because what I would say is that for things like Sunday Swap, Meld, well, so specifically Sunday Swap, not just like the exchange, the DEX that it's trying to do, but I mean for like their initial stake offering where you stake with them, they keep all the rewards and they give you Sunday tokens afterwards. That, or how Meld is doing something similar where you stake with them, they keep almost all of the rewards and you get Meld tokens after. For these things, they could potentially be an incredible investment opportunity where you're getting these tokens and they end up having a really great value and you got them for really, really cheap. But keep in mind that with them keeping all these rewards and giving you these tokens, you're basically swapping ADA for that specific token. And what you're doing is you're speculating that that token will be worth more than ADA, or at least more than the ADA that, at the time that you exchanged it. And you're also trusting that these different teams will be sending you that token that they promised. Because if you delegate to a pool like ours or any other, and in a standard delegation process, right, where, for example, we've got here it is, our fixed fee of just 340 and only 0.5% variable fee. Once those fees are taken out of the rewards that are shared with everyone, then the protocol of the network automatically sends all the remaining rewards to all the other delegators, right? But with some of these projects like Meld and Sunday Swap and some of these others, you're relying on them then, following up on their word and then sending you their tokens as a result. So I'm not saying anything about those projects. I'm not saying they're not legitimate, but there are let me pull myself back down here. There are a lot of different risks involved with that, of which, many of them could just like not be nefarious at all. It could just be that like the project didn't go the way they expected, or it took longer than they expected it to. So so just be cognizant of that, right? That you want to be allocating risks to specific things and be careful about not putting all your eggs in one basket for projects that have not yet proven themselves. They might, and it might end up being an awesome opportunity, but just make sure you're diversifying in terms of your risk so that you don't, if one of these things doesn't play out, then you've been basically like foregoing all these rewards and then didn't get anything to show for it. So just kind of, be careful with some of that stuff. Okay. World Mobile token holder in London. Wondering the same, are in the Telegram, leaning towards just staking early with more world. Yeah, so these are the things, you gotta, some of these things to think through. The container as a service. So is that like a World Mobile thing? Like their container as a service, is it like, is it like, is like Docker containers for stake pools? Is that what you're referring to? Jump into the Telegram soon. Yeah, join us in the Telegram group. Okay. Yeah, exactly. ADA long term, maybe 3 or 5 years or more. Yep, exactly. Be in it for the long game. Don't worry about the little speed bumps along the way. Okay. Nathan, does the constantly changing ADA delegation pools affect staking rewards? No, but I wouldn't recommend it for a couple of reasons. One, every time that you change pools, you pay the network transaction fee again to switch between the pools. And the other thing too to keep in mind is that like usually when people are switching between pools a lot, it's because what they're doing is they're either trying to chase some pool that recently had really high rewards, or they're trying to run from a pool that recently had bad luck and had low rewards. And remember that the assignment of blocks to a pool to validate is probabilistic, right? So there is a probability of the amount of blocks you're going to get. So for example, if we come to, actually we can do it here. If we come to rewards, here we go. Great. So for Epic 283, we can see that here's the probability of how many blocks we're going to get, right? but there's only a probability. It's the probability then is run, and then you get however many you're going to get. So for example, there's like a 7% chance we might get 6 blocks. There's also a 3% chance we get 0 blocks, or a 10% chance we only get 1 block. And if you look, we had a couple of epics here, these two actually, and then this one here, where we had just really bad luck and we got 1 block. For each of these, if we actually come and look at the rewards thing here, we're just looking at, here, look, we were expected to get over 3 blocks in both cases, and we only got 1. And here again, we're supposed to get 3, and we only got 1. Can you see that there? Yeah, cool. So this has nothing to do with anything about the performance of the pool. This is just the roll of the dice probability. So be careful. What we see a lot, especially people that are new to staking, is that, like, let's say you're delegated to our pool or any other pool, and you're delegated and you say, man, we've gotten, really low return on stake in these past few epics. I'm going to like run off to some other pool and I'm going to do that instead. Then what happens is, actually is exactly what happened here. We had these here, then, there we go. In epics 266, 268, and 269, we actually got 0 blocks. And if you look at here, this dump that happened in our stake, where we had a lot of people said that, it wasn't a ton, but some people said, no, that's it. That, I'm going to run away from these bad returns and go chase somewhere else. But then what happened? Then the pendulum swung the other direction, because it's all about probability in a dice roll. And then very shortly after this epic, we got 7% return on stake, 7% return on stake, roughly 7% again, right? And then here we got 9.4. So this pendulum of probability swings both ways. So you can switch between a lot of pools, but just be careful about doing that, because usually we find people are doing it emotionally, where they'll like run off because you have like a couple epics like this, and then it counterbalances later and you've just left and you haven't gotten those rewards. Or the opposite's true. You'll see like a pool, like we got these like 2 big payouts that we got here. And there's like, oh great, actually, this would be a perfect example. Let's say you had found our pool and it only went to here, and you're like, oh man, look at these payouts. I'm going to go for that pool. And then guess what? The next 2 epics, nothing happened, right? Because we had very, very small delegation at this point. So just be careful. We got a guy in the Telegram group, Squad Blockchain. He puts it very well. It's just like, get in the pool, stay in the pool. Like if you trust the stake pool operators that they are, that they have, they're hitting all of the blocks that they're supposed to be doing. For example, you can see we're actually, and actually this is a good point. You see out here, we're expected to get 3.5 blocks, but we're actually going to get 4 blocks. So we're actually going to overperform this epic where we underperformed the other ones, right? So if you trust the stake pool operator and you see that they are constantly validating the blocks they're supposed to be validating, and that they're like a serious group and they're here for the long haul, like how we are, and there's a lot of other pools that are in here for the long haul, then just delegate to them and just kind of like set it and forget it, and just check in once a month or so and do as a sanity check to make sure things are going well. But before we started our pool, when we were delegators, that's what we would do. We would just delegate and then just check in every several weeks. That's my personal recommendation. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to chase after rewards. Okay. Josh, what are the risks, if any, using dataless in your Roy wallet only, especially if your recovery phrase is protected and offline? Is it not virtually impossible to access a wallet unless you have the keys? So Josh, there's 2 parts to that. So there's 2 parts to that to keep in mind. If what you mean by using dataless in your Roy wallet only, you're talking about using a software wallet. The main risk I can think of there is that those wallets are generating the public and private keys for you on the wallet itself on your computer. So if somebody were to get access to your computer and with enough time try and like find a backdoor way to hack one of those 2 wallets, then they can potentially get access to your keys that way, because they're being stored on the wallet on your computer. Now, I will say, let me preface with this. All wallets that you own, whether it's a hardware wallet or a software wallet, all of those options are better than having it on the exchange, because the exchange, now you're fully trusting them to do everything. And if they get hacked, like we saw this hack that happened with the multi-chain stuff, that's not exactly the same scenario, but same idea, where it's someone else like handling all of these keys. You're fully trusting them. And if they get hacked, then all of your funds are at risk to being lost on an exchange, for example, right? So in terms of like security, like better and best, it is better to have a software wallet than to have it on the exchange. But the best option is to have it on a hardware wallet, because if you think about it, like for example, my hardware wallet here, right? The private keys for all the different cryptocurrencies that I create apps for on this wallet live on this wallet. And actually, more importantly, the wallet itself, if you imagine this wallet, the hardware wallet, having sort of like two compartments to it. One of it is the part that actually connects to the internet to like do the interfacing of setting up the addresses, setting up the public key, right? And all of that. And then actually interacting with these different blockchain networks to like send and receive transactions and delegate and stuff like that. There is the part of the wallet that interfaces with the internet, and it does have those communications. Then there's another part of the wallet, which is segmented, which is what holds your private keys. And that piece is never connected to the internet ever. What happens is, you can think of sort of like this gap between my fingers here, is that the part that goes to the internet says, hey, we're ready to make this transaction. Can you hand me a signature? And then the offline part, off of disconnected to the internet, passes over the signature for that transaction, and you have to verify it manually on the device. And so it's sort of a handoff, but it is never connected to the internet itself specifically. So when we talk about software wallets versus hardware wallets, the software wallet, however, since it's generating the private keys for you on your computer, it's constantly living on your computer, which is presumably online, and then has another attack vector of people being able, if they have enough time, to try and either hack the wallet itself, or a much easier thing that they could do is if you had some kind of malware and like a keylogger that like tracks what you're actually typing as you're typing it. Keep in mind that with a hardware wallet, when you get your recovery phrase, right, it's shown to you on the wallet, and then you just confirm it on the wallet, and everything you do is here. You don't type anything. With a software wallet, you're typing your recovery phrase on your keyboard into the software wallet. So if you think about it, if you have a keylogger that's tracking all of what you're typing, it's basically then tracking your entire recovery phrase, and then it just has it, and then they can generate that wallet somewhere else. So there are risks. But the risks primarily are not from the wallet itself. It's from what other malware you may have on your computer, or if your computer is compromised. So software wallets, definitely better than an exchange. But if you have the option, I would go with a hardware wallet instead. And then, yeah. And then in terms of the software wallets within that tier, Daedalus is the most secure because it's a totally trustless wallet. It does all the transaction verification itself. It doesn't rely on anybody else. Whereas Yoroi, it then asks, for example, for validation from the Emergo servers that they're running. Your keys live on your wallet. They're not held by Emergo, but it does ask the Emergo servers to validate the transactions because it's not a full running node like Daedalus. But Daedalus is obviously a lot heavier. I mean, there's a lot of things to like keep in mind. So that's why we have like this video here in terms of comparing Daedalus, Yoroi, and Ada Lite. So this is just in general. So if people are curious, like if you're like trying to decide which wallet you want to use, this video can give you some idea comparing Daedalus, Yoroi, and Ada Lite. Find the right wallet for you. So you can check out this video. So yeah, so that's, just something to keep in mind. I am a strong believer in hardware wallets. I'm also a very strong believer in software wallets at the very least. So what I normally recommend to people, and actually what most of us, even in the Telegram group, recommend to people is start with a software wallet, great place to start. And then as you save up some money and have some time, then eventually move to a hardware wallet, a Ledger or a Trezor. And actually, I guess it's a good opportunity for me to share this video. If you want to choose between the Ledger and the Trezor, here is a video that can help you choosing between Ledger and Trezor. This video here. Okay, cool. Here you go. There's another long answer for you. So Dan, thank you. Let me put this here. Let's see. We'll come. Let me reset ourselves here. Okay, Dan, thank you for clearly explaining the staking value per my question. You're my favorite YouTube crypto channel, and I've recommended your channel to many people. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and it's a good time to jump in and say like what we talk about a lot here about that. Our big thing when we started the channel was a lot of this stuff that we've figured out over time. We just had to figure out by a lot of reading and researching, and a lot of these resources weren't necessarily available when we first got started. And so since we're all on our different phases in our learning journeys about cryptocurrency, and even like the people in our Telegram group have all different backgrounds and experiences and have been sharing really good ideas back and forth between each other. We're constantly learning from other content creators on YouTube, from IOHK and from Charles, from people in our Telegram group. And so our thought is, okay, since we now have like several years of learning about these things, let's try and like condense them into like edited videos and tutorials and try and help people out. And that's kind of our goal. So like what we do like as a channel, you'll see that we've got on Sundays, we release our weekly recaps, almost always on Sundays. This one from last week we released early because there was so much going on. And then for a long time, every Wednesday we release a different tutorial. But after a while, we started running out of material. And so now we started doing every 2 weeks, we do these Q&A live streams. But you know, our biggest thing is like, and this is something that I have seen a lot in the Cardano ecosystem as a whole, spearheaded by Charles, but also demonstrated by IOHK and also by the broader community of, like, for example, when we got into operating a stake pool, the community of other stake pool operators that are just willing to help each other out and help others learn how to get up and running has been so positively refreshing at every step of the way. And so it's really, really cool to be part of a community where it just seems like people just want to help each other out and help each other like learn how to do things correctly and make educated decisions so that like we say, you can grow your investment with confidence. Like you can be confident the things that you're doing, you know, are based on facts, on things that like you've actually learned, and you can make confident decisions doing them. So it's really cool to hear that you've found value in the channel. We're trying to do our best to kind of like continue moving forward some of the really great help that we've gotten along the way. And yeah, and if you think it's helpful for everybody watching, if you think it's helpful, share the channel with friends. And we're always looking for additional content that might be helpful for you all. So in these Q&A live streams, a lot of times we're just like quickly just sort of answering questions in real time. But if there's like, you want to see us dig into a specific topic a little bit deeper on something that's like a tutorial or just to investigate something, like, let us know. We're always looking for new material. So thanks, Dan. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. We've got a few minutes left. And yes, exactly. Like we were talking about earlier, 1 ADA is always worth 1 ADA. So when we're talking about staking, but in a broader sense too, you have people like that are purists, you know, like Bitcoin maximalists or you know, purists for cryptocurrency in general, that, you know, that they talk about like some people that have no intention of selling any of their stuff ever, right? Because they really truly believe in like the future of, we're going to have like multi-wallet, multi-asset wallets where you might have some ADA and you may have some Ethereum, you may have some Bitcoin. And that if you think far enough into the future, you could totally see a world where we stop valuing these things back to US dollars all the time. Like, why is it that everything gets valued back to the US dollar? At the end of the day, like, we're probably going to see some version of the world where people aren't always looking back to dollars and euros, and they're looking at what's the value of these currencies to each other, or just as intrinsic value and what it can do for me. So not only is 1 ADA worth 1 ADA in terms of if you hold it, you keep holding it, and then at some point, if you want to convert it to dollars, it's whatever the value is that day for that exchange. But in terms of like, or maybe you just never convert it at all, and maybe like it does become this thing where it's just like the main way that we're interfacing with each other is with these different cryptocurrencies. Like, who knows? But at the end of the day, I think that the better you kind of insulate yourself into not always getting sucked into what's the price doing at this very moment, probably the better off you'll be, both in terms of the success in terms of your long-term investments, because you're not making emotional decisions, and also with your own sanity and anxiety levels. So something to keep in mind. We'll drink some water while we pull this up. All right. So Jay was actually asking Josh, what was the verdict on Yoroi? I don't know. Let's find out. Things answer it next. Yeah. So and then to this point, you know, Daedalus is the most secure one for the fact that it's like trustless. But Yoroi is still also a very secure wallet. And the problem that we find with Daedalus for a lot of people is it's so heavy because it is a full Cardano node. Like literally, like the Daedalus wallet is running the Cardano node, like what we were showing here. Oh, great. It's still pulled up. Awesome. So this like Cardano node here. Yeah, cool. You can see it. This Cardano node here of like what runs on stake pools or whatever else, when it's tied to the wallet backend, like on Daedalus here, Daedalus is a Cardano node. So if you like think about, let me find this guy. Cool. This diagram that we show a lot on the channel, where you've got these like core nodes and the relays. So these, for example, so imagine this is the whole Cardano network. This is how stake pools work. We have your core node, or your block producing node sits behind your relays. The relays are exposed to the outside world, but the core nodes only ever talk to the relays. No one ever knows the core node's IP addresses. But if you look here, this is an interesting thing to think about. Here you have this stake pool with only one relay. This stake pool has two relays. This stake pool has one relay. But look at this, where it says wallet. Let me. Oh, come on. There, can you see that? Yeah, this is where it says wallet here. the reason why this is put in here is because this wallet, like for example, this could be somebody running Daedalus, and Daedalus interfaces with the rest of the network the same as all these other relays, because it is a true, fully functioning Cardano node. So, so that's, you know, part of what makes Daedalus more secure. But Yoroi is still a very secure wallet, and a Yoroi software wallet is better than having your stuff on the exchange. I'll say that every time. Yep, cool. Okay, let me see how we're doing on questions here. Okay, cool. We've got a few questions left, which is perfect because we've got about 5 minutes. If you have any other last questions that you want answered, put them in the chat now. And we'll, if we start running out of time, we'll go into a rapid fire mode. Okay, can you give a brief description about staking? When you run a pool, who is giving you the ADA and then divide with your pool members? I assume Cardano gives the ADA. Yes. Short answer is yes. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. So I'm not sure, Dan, if you were here from the very beginning when I was talking about like Meld and Sunday Swap and some of these other folks. But basically, and actually there's a video here. Let me share this too. Dan is probably to get into some detail about this video here about staking rewards and fees and all of that explained. Let me share this with you. Okay, Dan. This is rewards and fees explained, Dan. Cool. So, okay. So in that video, what we go into is basically the way to think about it is, I'm trying to think of the best way to visualize it. Well, I could do it on our page actually. Sweet. So woodlandpools.net, if you've not come here, you can check out Jaron, our other stake pool operator. The two of us run this together, and he's built this really awesome tool called the Epic Rewards Estimator. No, that's, here we go. Wait. Yeah, here we go. The Epic Rewards Estimator. So if we type in like ASPEN, for example, you can select the ASPEN pool, and then let's say you have 1,000 ADA you want to stake. Let's hit calculate. And so, yeah, these are those kind of rough epics that we had. So let's find like a one that we had like a little bit better. Here we go. This one's like about 4%. Okay, cool. So basically, the way to look at it is, let me do, actually I'll do one more. This guy. Yeah, 4% ROS. Okay, great. So the way to think about it is, here was the total active stake. Here were the rewards that the pool got. We took out the minimum. We can't take out less than this. The network won't let us. We took out the minimum 340 ADA for pool operation, covering costs and things. And then from there, of what's left, we take 0.5%, only 0.5%. And so if you take 1839 minus 340, the remaining like 1,500 ADA or something, 0.5% of that was 9 ADA left. And then of everything that's left of rewards, that is automatically split up by the protocol to all the other delegators, proportionate to stake. And that's what Jaron demonstrated here, that actually you can see really clearly, is you can see that for this test wallet or demonstration wallet that had 1,000 ADA, the ratio of your 1,000 ADA to the total 3.3 million that was in the pool at the time is 0.03%. And so you got 0.03% of the rewards that were left, which was this 0.5 of an ADA for that epic, right? And then keep in mind that the annualized return on stake for that epic is about 4%. But what sometimes confuses people is that like this 4%, like that this 0.5 of an ADA you got is not 4% of your 1,000 ADA. It is 4% divided by 73, right? Because there's 73 epics in the year. And so it is, if you take the average of 4% and you divide that by 73, then what you'll get is that you'll get, or rather, yeah, if you take 4% of 1,000 and divide that by 73, then that's where you'll get this 0.5 of an ADA roughly. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you check out that video that I shared, we go into detail about all this stuff. And then, like I said, the short answer was yes, the network is the ones that propagate out the rewards automatically. If you're doing a traditional delegation, like delegating to like our pool or anybody else and expecting to get back ADA itself. Cool. Let's try and wind up. So hopefully that answered that. Let's try and rapid fire here at the end. Let the rewards come to you. Stick with ASPEN. Exactly. Don't be chasing between pools. Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it. Exactly. So you're saying that the rewards and then do with the uptime and performance of ASPEN just purely luck and probability. So now what I want to clarify is that it is that those are two separate things. Uptime and performance are two different things. A pool is expected to be up 24/7, but in reality, right? If you're only getting 4 blocks in the entire epoch, you technically only need to be up at the instant that those blocks are arriving. As a stake pool operator, some of the command line interface stuff that I was saying that we now have access to because some of these really great community resources that have been built out, we know to the second the exact time that we are expected to get every single one of our blocks that we need to validate. So this is why uptime is not really a real metric that it's not as important as people think it is, because the thing about it is a common practice that you need to do security updates from just like a server standpoint, that you need to do updates to the Cardano node. For example, when we move to Alonzo in the Goguen era, all stake pool operators are gonna need to update their pools. And what that means is they're gonna have to like take down their nodes, upgrade them, bring them back online, and then have them resync with the ledger, right? That takes time. So during that time, if you were looking at like uptime, the pool would be down and that would affect like the uptime. So uptime's not really what you think it is. The important thing is, were you up and running when your block arrived? That is the true performance. That's the difference between uptime and performance. That is where the assigned performance comes in. So it's not about the pool's uptime, it's about the pool's performance. If the pool validates all the blocks it's expected to get, then it gets no penalties from the network. And then the amount of blocks you get is purely a factor of the delegation to your pool and the size of your pool. And then, of course, the probability of what you get in there. And then that's it. Then it's probabilistic based on the size of your delegation. And if you are always validating the blocks that you're given, then it's purely just based on only that. If, however, you have missed blocks, not just because of slot battles, which is a whole other thing we could talk about some other time, but if you miss blocks that were like given to you and you just didn't perform, then you do get dinged for that. And there are consequences for that. So most important thing is the pool validating what it's supposed to be validating? And really that's it. And then the rest kind of works itself out. Yeah, you're good. I got it. Over the long run, all the rewards average out. Essentially, all pools get the same reward percentages over time unless the pools are saturated. Exactly. And we talked about that at length in other videos, and we're kind of like running out of time here, so I won't get too much into it. But yeah. Oh, come on. Where did this thing keeps jumping around? Okay. Makes sense. Thank you. And thanks, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff's one of our all-stars in the Telegram group. A lot of times we can't get back to people in time. Jeff's always there. So he's one of our really helpful people in the Telegram group. What determines the return on stake on the pool? Is it purely based on luck? So there's a longer question answer, but the short answer is it is based on, it's based a little bit on luck. It's based on what is the amount of blocks you were expected to get, and then how many did you actually validate? And that part is based on luck. That's probability. But then from there, if you underperform, here we were supposed to get 3.1, you only got 3, it's 97%. So you get a little bit less than the expected, like, 5%. But you can see here, for example, we're supposed to get 3 and we got 6. We overperformed by almost 2x. So we got almost 9%. So the last thing I'll say, because this is like a longer conversation, is that as a general rule, if you underperform, you get less. If you overperform, you get more. But to Jeff's point, over time, it averages out because it is just probabilistic of just like the pendulum of like the probability, right? But in terms of the idea of lumpy versus consistent returns, what you'll see here with pools like ours as the pool grows is that the variability between the rewards per epoch goes down, because if you think about it, way back here in epochs like 252 and 254, when we were supposed to get, let's go back far enough. Yeah. Let me go to the next page. Okay. So 252, we were only supposed to get 0.18 blocks. So when we got a full block that we validated, we overperformed by almost 5.5x, right? So then we got a huge payout for doing that. So that's the whole idea of consistent versus lumpy returns, is that for a smaller pool, the way to think about it is if you're expected to get 1 block and instead you got 2, now you've doubled what you're expected to do, right? But if you're expected to get 100 blocks and you got 101, now you've only overperformed by 1%, right? So that variability goes down in terms of getting the bigger payouts as the pool gets larger. But all pools, whether there's gaps in between and the big payouts are compensating for the gaps, or whether it's a large pool and they're getting consistent returns every epoch, over time, all pools converge to that 4 to 6% annualized return on stake. So there you go. All right, we're running out of time here. We've got some good questions here. I'll try and do some rapid fire here. And then if you guys want longer answers, then we'll do this again in 2 weeks. But let me go. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then we'll rapid fire our last few questions here. Okay, Dan, if I get a hardware wallet and I keep my ADA on it, and I lost that hardware wallet. Well, I need to buy another hardware wallet to be able to recover and get back my account with all my ADA. That's the easiest way to do it. We shared this video a little bit earlier. Let me I could probably just scroll up and find it. That's the easiest way to do it, is just get yourself another hardware wallet. Can I copy that? Oh, come on. Let me do it here. Get another hardware wallet and then just restore it. Oh, of course not. Man, all right, let me find that link. Or you know what? You can just scroll up in the chat. Find this comment, how to restore a Ledger Nano. It'll show you how you do that restoration process. But yeah, worst case, there are like sites that you can go to, but I don't know. If you can, just get another wallet, restore it onto there. It'll be an identical creation of public, private keys and addresses, and you'll have all of your funds. So you'll be good to go. Where were we? That was your question here. Okay, cool. Aren't they developing a mobile version of Daedalus? I'm not sure, but well, so with Mithril, which is like a whole other thing too, you got some good questions at the end here. Mithril, short answer, Mithril is a way that you will be able to do light clients on mobile clients that don't require them to have the entire ledger downloaded and stored. Having that will be able to enable some kinds of things like that, like being able to do a full wallet on a mobile device. But in the meantime, what you could do if you wanted is you could do this guy, restoring a Daedalus software wallet on your ROI. And what you can do, here we go. And what you can do with this, Josh, is if you have a Daedalus software wallet, Josh, restore Daedalus to your ROI. Cool. If you have a Daedalus software wallet, you can restore it to your ROI and they will be identical clones of each other. And so a common thing that we see people do is that you have the Daedalus wallet, and that's what you use on the computer, but then you can use their Yoroi clone on your phone, and they're identical to each other, and then you can just do it that way. So use Yoroi on the phone and Daedalus on the computer. Thanks for the link. Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. All right, Dan talked about a Trezor. You two consider showing how to migrate coins from a Trezor 1 to Trezor T. You could just send it from one to the other. Q of the great Q&As. Is there a good explanation for how Yoroi automatically generates new addresses when you use them? Say I share the same wallet address with two people to send ADA to me. After the first person sends ADA, I understand a new address is generated, but can I still receive ADA from the second person? I guess it just created a new address, but all the old ones still come to you. Yeah, exactly. So if you use any old address will continue to work. As a best practice, they say to use a new address every time. That's debatable, but yeah, kind of why not, I guess. But all old addresses will still always be associated with your wallet. You could, if you wanted, you could use the same address every single time. You want to stake your 2,000 ADA on our pool. Can you provide me to the link? Yeah, no problem. Depends on what wallet you're using. But here's our pool ID, Dan. Here's our pool ID, ASPEN pool ID. And we would love to have you. If you're in, so if you have a hardware wallet and you're using ADA Lite, you'll need to paste that in. But if you're on your ROI or Daedalus, you can just come here and type in ASPEN. And it'll pull it right up, and all you need to do is click on delegate and you'll be good to go. And actually, we did a change a while back. You can also search by Woodland. That'll pull up as well. Okay? So yeah, so that should be all you need there. And thank you. Welcome to the community. Happy to have you. Don't forget if your question isn't answered. Yep, join the Telegram channel. Let me drop that in one more time as we wrap up here. If you want to chat with us in real time and don't want to wait 2 weeks, join us in the Telegram channel. There's that. Cool. Sweet, Josh. All right. Watch another YouTube video saying not to bother looking at the variable fees when selecting a delegating pool. What are your thoughts? No, I mean, you should definitely look at them. Like, so what I would say is probably what they were getting at. I know like Big Pay talks about this a lot. He's got a great channel. And I know that he talks about like not sweating the difference between like 1 percentage point or another. And I agree with him, right? Like at the end of the day, like, if like, for example, when we get to a point where we're at like 30 million or something, and it's going to get to the point where that would be the saturation point for future things, we're probably going to bump up our fees to like 2.5% instead of just 0.5%. But if you do the math, that's not like that it's cutting into your 4 to 6%. That's like that the pool is taking an additional 2% of all the total rewards that are split between everyone. And I should do this one time. We should make a video doing a little bit of the math there. But like, the way to think about it is that like that 2% the pool is taken is split between all delegators. So at the end of the day, the effects on you is actually a small fraction of a percent. So I think what they were getting at I know Big Pay talks about this a lot, is that it is not as big of a deal to you, the delegator, as it seems. It makes a really big difference for the operator of the pool to be able to like actually, compensate them for like their work. But for you as a delegator, it really doesn't change that much. Now, the difference between like a pool that's charging like 1% to a pool that's charging 2%, that's not that big of a difference. Or even if we go like in the future at some point, months from now, go from like 0.5%, 2.5%, it seems like a lot, but it's really not that big of a deal. But what I would say is that be careful about treating this as too broad of a statement where it's like, oh, okay, don't bother looking at the variable fees. Because if a pool, let's come here to pool tool real quick. If a pool, for example, well, here's a great example. These are private pools, for example. These IO global pools, their variable fees 100%. They're going to take all the rewards. Like basically this is their way of saying, do not delegate to us. We're keeping everything that we get as rewards. So yeah, like you definitely should look at the variable fees. And then like this video here, where'd it go? Selecting the right stake pool for you. We kind of go into some of those details. But Nathan, like don't sweat small differences in percentages. Look more at like what's going on here? Look more at like how the pool is actually performing. Oh, I know what I did. I didn't click copy. Sorry, hold on one second. Here. I see. I did Control C. Okay. This is for Nathan. This is choosing the right stake pool for you. Okay, Nathan. For you, using pool tool. And then we'll go into sort of different like fees and how they work and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Yoroi. Okay. So Dan, you don't need to manually copy all that link to get to our pool. Again, if you're using Yoroi or Daedalus, you could just come in and just, yeah, you're using Yoroi. Exactly. So just come to, okay, go to your wallets, find your wallet, go to the delegation list, type in ASPEN, but you have to spell it right. Oh, come on. There you go. And then just click delegate and you'll be good to go. That's all you need to do. Okay. So, Naradi, you had your online Exodus wallet hacked and lost everything. Keys are sitting on my computer. I've written to the cyber FBI, but not heard anything. Man, honestly, I don't know. Like, yeah, I would say, unfortunately, if it was hacked and you lost everything, there's not much that someone else can do. And I'm so sorry to hear that. What I would say is like, the only thing I'd say is like looking forward, consider getting a hardware wallet so that, yeah, man, consider getting a hardware wallet so that everything is offline. We talked about this at length a little bit earlier in the stream here about how like this sits offline and nobody can hack it remotely. And as you sort of like start building up your crypto portfolio again, just have everything stored on your hardware wallet there. So, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. That really, really sucks. And this is exactly why we like try and put this information out there, is to help people out to avoid exactly that kind of situation. That really sucks. So, yeah, something to think about. We shared a little bit earlier, comparing the Trezor and the Ledger here. So in the future, like, when if you do decide you want to like continue investing in cryptocurrency, Naradi here, selecting a hardware wallet. Here it's comparing the two most popular ones. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's kind of situation where like now it's like that happened. It was terrible. Let's like look forward and see where we can go from here. Yeah, let the FBI know, but I'm not sure what they'll be able to do for you. But yeah, I know. I'm really sorry. That really sucks. Okay. Yeah, join the group. We have a lot of really good people there that like share a lot of good information. So you might be able to get some people that give you some good ideas on how to secure your stuff. Okay, but with that, we're a bit over time here. As people are leaving, make sure to hit the like button on your way out the door. Okay, last question. What's the spending password in your Yoroi? You have to make it when you create your Yoroi wallet. If you don't remember your spending password, you can always restore a new wallet and put a new spending password using your recovery phrase. But this is one that you selected. This is your own selected one. You now have a hardware wallet online. Okay, good, cool. All right, Nathan, let's take us out here. Thanks so much for your time and concise answers to all the questions. You have another subscriber. You'll be sticking around. I'm not sure if I would call my live stream answers concise, but I do appreciate the thought, and I appreciate all of you joining us. This is always a lot of fun. We love chatting with you guys. We love doing this every 2 weeks. So if you're watching this on the replay, join us 2 weeks from now. What did I say that was going to be? Today is the 11th. So join us on the 25th. Do I know how to do math? Is that right? Yep. On August 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A pleasure chatting with you guys as always. Join us in the Telegram group. Look for the recap this Sunday. And if nothing else, we'll talk to you live in 2 weeks here on the channel. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Talk to you next time. Bye.